All right, we'd like to jump into a little bit of the program, and that last year we were able to, in 2024, able to help 41 families move to home ownership and help them realize their dreams. And De'Ara Spinks is one of those homeowners. So she just celebrated her first anniversary as a homeowner, and tonight she's here to help us celebrate and join a little bit and share in her story. And that we want De'Ara and then Jenna Ekstrom, our VP of Strategy, are going to come up on here and have a little conversation. So welcome, you guys.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to share a little bit tonight with our friend De'Ara. De'Ara is a total rock star, and I'm so blessed to be able to both work on the Habitat staff and be able to help her share a little bit of her story tonight with us. So, De'Ara, will you share with our friends here in the room a little bit about yourself, and then when you purchased your Habitat home, a little of that story?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am De'Ara Spinks. We just came up on our 1-year home ownership anniversary, October 10th. So we closed last year. I am a mother of 3 children, and yeah.
So one of your kiddos has autism spectrum disorder, as does my kiddo. And so De'Ara and I have been able to bond over being parents of kids with autism. And I know that as you looked at purchasing a Habitat home, beyond the fact that you were going to become a Habitat homeowner and what that means, which we'll talk about later, there was this piece of safety and stability that you were looking forward to. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say when you're a parent of a child with any sort of disability and you're a renter, you're going to face so many challenges. Now that we have become Habitat homeowners, that has just really strengthened our future, especially for my 4-year-old autistic son. Just being able to make the necessary adaptations to our home that we wouldn't have been able to make while we were renting has been a game changer for his success, for his mental health, for his safety. We have been able to make so many adaptations. We have had a fence built. He is an eloper, so we had a fence built all the way around the house. When we were renting, we had a really big scare with him running right out of the front door and into the street. There was no fence at the house that we were renting. We could not add, sensory swings like we were able to with this. And Habitat has been a huge support with making the necessary accommodations for my son. They actually built into the foundation a hook that my son can, as he grows, have these sensory swings added and make the necessary changes as he grows in his room. So it's a blessing.
I feel like throughout the entire process of purchasing your home, the education, all of the partnership hours, you really were thoughtful about how you involved your kids and educated them on what this meant. So talk about why generational wealth and that creation is important specifically for you.
I have here today with me my mother, Darlena McElroy. She's over at table 6. She actually just came up on her 20-year anniversary as a Habitat homeowner. So I was able to be impacted early on and being passed down the knowledge from my mom and the foundation that she created with her being a Habitat homeowner. I was able to see firsthand the way that the stability changed versus us being in rented apartments or rented duplexes, just having that sense of ownership and knowing that it's ours. And I was 14 or 15 years old when my mom purchased her Habitat home, and now my oldest daughter is 15 years old, and she was 14 when we purchased our Habitat home. So that right there is just a full circle of really living that generational wealth, having something that you can pass down to your children, and also, just passing on the knowledge about stability, the knowledge about being prideful, taking pride in something that's actually yours. So that's a big game changer for us.
When we first met, you told me that going through the process was really about all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no
and
brakes.
I feel like that's how you live your life in a lot of ways, which I think is so very cool. But one of the things that you tied into that is really being a passionate advocate about the things that are important to you, your family, your community. Can you talk a little bit about advocacy and how that's been a part of your Habitat journey?
Yeah, so even with my 4-year-old autistic son, he also was born with spina bifida and a tethered cord. And so I was already passionate about advocacy, not only just learning from my mom and what she does in our community and advocating for those that she loves, but once I realized that my son was nonverbal, I really became his advocate. When I learned about his other disabilities and kind of being misled in the medical and the health field, I had to continuously advocate for him. So I take that same passion when it came to Habitat, and I put my all into it. And Habitat they just do such a great job of not only building houses, but building communities, building hope, building that sense, that mindset of being able to create generational wealth. So I'm super passionate about it. I explain to my kids the importance of investing in people, the importance of investing in yourself, the importance of taking pride in what they have. And Habitat does just that. The way that they force you to engage with building your home and other people's homes, it really teaches a lot.
It is really about that partnership, right?
Yeah.
And so it's definitely not us on our own. It's not you on your own. It's us together and the folks in this room. So that's what makes it special, I think.
Yeah.
So you hit on hope a little bit, and I hope you've all noticed that that's our theme for the evening. So if you can talk a little bit about how hope was present in the process of purchasing your home, and maybe how hope looks different now that you're a homeowner.
Yes. So the process, of course, it doesn't happen overnight. Staying faithful, staying hopeful is the key to this entire program. And Habitat continues to keep that at their forefront. Just staying hopeful throughout the whole process, becoming financially literate, just taking the steps that you need, the home ownership classes, putting in the sweat equity, being a part of the builds. You have to remain hopeful. You have to keep that hope alive. And now that we are living in it and have been in our house for a year now, that hope has become more hope because it's possible. And it really just lets you know that it's possible for anyone. As long as you keep your mind on it, you keep that hope, you keep that faith, you can do it. Home ownership is achievable for people just like me.
I love that idea that hope is optimism in action. So it's about continuing to move forward and knowing that there's something more and something there. And I feel like you are such an amazing display of what that looks like. I want to pop back to the advocacy piece for a little bit, because I have to give you kudos that you have stepped out of your comfort zone and shared your story so many times and been vulnerable on this stage with our elected officials at the state capitol, which was amazing.
Yes.
But something that you, and your mom mentioned this earlier too, was when we were kind of chatting before this evening, you mentioned, how can we get involved with other Habitat homeowners, future Habitat homeowners? So I love that you were thinking about, all right, how do I pay it forward? How do I think about what's next and building that hope with that next generation, right?
Yeah.
Which is very cool. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So as we start to wrap up here, I know you had a couple things you were thinking about that you wanted to share with the group. So go ahead.
All right. Okay, 1 second.
I really love that Diarra too. We're both talkers, so if you know us, you know we're both talkers. So she ran this through ChatGPT to make sure it was concise. So I really appreciated that.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you to Habitat. Thank you to everyone who not only helped with the build on our home, but for all that you guys do. It means a ton. It goes a long way. I would like to say that owning a home, I would say, is one of the most powerful ways that you can create generational wealth. And I'm living it full circle. Like I said, my mother was able to pass that down to me, and now, I'm a living proof. I have my children that are able to inherit something, but not only are they inheriting a house, they're inheriting the mindset of responsibility, community service. They are being able to experience the security that they have, knowing that a landlord can't say, hey, we're gonna sell this property, you guys need to be out in 30 days. So that right there is one of the most tangible things for me. And the model of just perseverance that they get to keep with them, that I get to pass down for them. I would like to say that Habitat has given me the opportunity to rewrite my family's story in so many ways, and we're just beyond blessed with that. And of course, the legacy started with my mother, and now it's being passed down to me, and will of course be passed down to my children. My oldest daughter is going to be taking real estate at Central Campus this year, so she's already in that window. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing with all of us tonight and really hopefully inspiring folks that this is so much more than bricks and sticks. It's about generational wealth. It's about hope. It's about our next generation really thriving. And Dira, thank you. So if we can give Dira a round of applause.
Thank you.